This week, the Time Pals begin their peer-reviewed and meticulously researched version of F, Marry, Kill for the Best Picture winners and nominees of the 2000s generation. Because of the sheer number of lively curse word-filled discussions, the episode was broken up into two parts, with part 1 focusing on the winners and nominees from 2001 to 2005, and part 2 focusing on the winners and nominees of 2006 and 2010. All the Time Pals are with me this week as we venture into the Academy's most dubious decisions, we fix a few film wrongs, and hand out a few gold statues along the way. The Time Pals also welcome special guest on the show, Hollywood Fringe legend Veronica Matthews. Veronica is a highly praised stage actress, writer, and director, close friend of co-host Nickell, and someone that brings a much-needed extra voice to keep Jon Powell in line.
Late nights and cheap wine, we gather around the mic, just killing time.
So, if you are just listening to us for the first time, our last episode, we went through all the Best Picture winners from the 90s. We argued, we fought, we fixed some good shit. So, after that one, during our production meeting, Nickell decided he wanted to do it again because he loved calling Jon wrong for 2 hours straight. Only one of which actually made it into the episode. So imagine all the stuff you missed. With me for this generation, which is basically the early 2000s, I have ShadoSpartan.
This episode is not sponsored by Sparkling Ice, but I love it.
I love that stuff, dude. We're so good.
Legendary Legion, and I don't think they've ever, I don't think they've talked to us.
I still talk to them.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's an energy drink company, and go buy it. They don't give a shit.
They're a spiritual sponsor.
Yes, exactly. Also with me today is Jon Powell.
By
That's it?
Kraken
Oh.
Energy.
Oh, you were saying it slower. So
Yeah.
God, way to interrupt him, Mike.
Nickell's gonna beat the shit out of you in this episode. I can feel it.
It's fine. Bring it. I put way more effort into this one.
Yes, clearly. And also, as always, Nickell.
Yes. And as Mike as underscore said before, I'm happy to introduce the Time Pals and our listeners to a very talented writer and actress. She's written and performed Trendsetter, a one-person show, and Transpiring, a hip-hop vampire musical. You can find the links on both shows below. It's Hollywood Fringe legend, Veronica Matthews. Thank you for joining us. I'm excited to be finally working with you in a creative atmosphere and not just cutting and crimping.
You were so excited that you totally cut her off.
No, he had more to say, and I wanted to hear that. I wanted to,
because it was only good stuff.
yeah.
Wait till we get into the episode.
So say more of that. You can. Why did the intro have to? I thought it was too short, but that's fine.
No, 2 shorts from Oakland.
That's true. Sorry.
That's
my
true,
bad.
yeah. So, Veronica, where does the Hollywood Fringe legend nickname come from?
It came from needing to have some sort of description for the show, but it is also true. For those who don't know, the Hollywood Fringe Festival is at least the largest of its kind on the West Coast, and one of the biggest in the country, based on the similar Fringe Festival they have in Edinburgh, where it's a festival of self-produced projects. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. I've been active with that for the last 10 years. I've been involved with 8 different projects. I've been nominated for different stuff, and was 1 year in a show that I've done again since, called A Very Die Hard Christmas, that won Best Comedy. Play a lot of different stuff in that. My solo show, I did that in 2021, got nominated for Best Solo Show. And
What's A Very Die Hard Christmas?
so it's, and I know you did a Die Hard episode on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And this play basically is it is most definitely a Christmas movie. And it takes the movie of Die Hard. And
I instantly regret having you as a guest.
I don't know what you thought this was going to be like, but it combines Die Hard with classic Christmas tropes, movies, characters like Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, things like that. A Muppets Christmas, and it's a musical, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I just did it again this past December. We normally would do it at our company in December, and this is the first time I'd done it since. So I did it before I transitioned. By the way, I'm transgender. Blah blah. Let's get that elephant out there. If you didn't know, by the titles Trendsetter and Transpiring. But yeah, that was before I transitioned. Then I did it again, and it was a lot of fun. I did one scene where I was Catherine O'Hara as a terrorist. That was fun. So yeah, but yeah, I've done a lot of projects there, and I've just been doing. I've been in LA for like 20 years. I've done stand up. I've done improv and sketch. I just actually got invited to my friend's show called the Late Musical Show, which is like a late night talk show format, but live, and it's an improv musical as well. I've played Princess Peach before, and I played Moaning Myrtle in our Halloween episode, and then they're doing it like a Wizard of Oz one, so he wants me to play Glinda. So yeah, I do. I do stuff. I've been on TV a couple times for random stuff. So I don't know. I'm no Great Cummins, but yeah.
Veronica, it seems like you mentioned several musical related projects. And with that in mind, do you feel like you are kind of on the pulse of movie and TV musicals that have come out over the years?
No, don't ask her this. Don't
Sure.
ask her shit.
Have you heard of the movie, or sorry, have you heard of the television show Gallivant?
I've heard the name. I don't know much about it.
I was really hoping.
Dumb shows.
It's a good show, and it's a musical, and you should like it, you theater nerd.
We went through this already. First off,
Damn it.
Veronica's a guest.
Not Veronica, you.
Yeah, I know. Secondly, I know she's bragging, but trying not to. But not to outdo you, but I'm a 40-year-old father who is wearing a hat usually made for 22-year-olds, trying to relive a generation they never knew nothing about. So I have that going for me and nothing else but this show. So I'm letting you know you're overqualified, and we love having you here. If there's anything you want to plug later, please do, because I guarantee you I don't have the money to go see it. But we're happy you're here.
Legitimate suggestion, though. Legitimate suggestion.
I'll take
I
Gallivant.
want to fucking do a road trip to Hollywood Fringe because I knew about the Edinburgh one, and I've wanted to go for so long, but like I'm poor, so not really doable. But Hollywood is just like that direction, and I can get there, and we should fucking road trip.
You're not getting in free. You're not going to be put in the play. Let it go, my friend.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
a-
So there's a lot of shows that do like pay what you can, or like
Do.
previews like $1, and there are a lot of interactive immersive shows where I've participated in shows where it's like, okay, can we get someone to come? And I've done that. I did that a few times last year at shows that I went and saw. So yes, it is cheaper. You can the key to seeing a lot of shows at Fringe without paying is to produce another show and then just to be like, hey, come see my show and I'll come see your show. In lieu of that, though, yes, there are ways to see lots of shows for cheap, and it is much cheaper than going to Edinburgh. So
Awesome.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more doable than us going to the fucking Slow Jamistan.
I don't know what this us thing is. You're not going to go.
You're not allowed to go. We don't want to be seen in public with you, John. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do this, man. Let's do this show.
Okay.
Okay, the Oscars.
Oscar's number
Right?
one, the Grouch. Is he really as grouchy as he seems?
I'm already upset with John.
It has
I know,
begun.
my friend. I know.
I'm already upset with John.
Go for it. Go. Kick us off, buddy.
Me or Mike?
Oh, no, you.
You,
You're the
Oh,
host.
me?
Come on now.
Yeah, this is your
I'm
episode.
not the host. This is
You started saying the Oscars. I thought you were about to go into some like.
I swear to
prolific-
God, Veronica, we have done like a bunch of episodes. I've never been more embarrassed for him in my entire life.
it's understandable.
So we're going to start with 2001. The films nominated that year: Gladiator, Chocolate. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's right. Did we?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay. Chocolat, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Aaron Brockovich, and Traffic. And the winner that year, I believe, was Gladiator.
Correct.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I-
no argument here.
No
Oh.
argument from me with Gladiator winning.
Right. I'm so unprepared.
I
have my notes brought up.
You have I have no issue with Gladiator winning. It was great.
I will help you out. So the first thing I'm going to eliminate from this bullshit list is Chocolat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to put a better movie in there, Memento came out that year.
Yeah.
I loved Memento. Is that yours too?
I said Memento or Brother, Where Art Thou?
I loved Oh Brother right there as well. I would put, if I had to only get rid of one, I would put Memento, just because I basically love the entire idea of it. Apparently, on the DVD, there's actually a secret where you can play the movie forwards, like as if it wasn't going backwards, and it's not as good. So they took like basically a B minus C plus mystery movie, and by chopping it up, they turned it into, in my opinion, an A level movie.
I see.
Yeah, I did find my notes and I did type out 2001 is impossible because you had movies like The Patriot, Perfect Storm, Requiem for a Dream, Memento, Snat, American Psycho, Unbreakable, Remember the Titans, even. Okay, now, but
Right?
like, and Castaway,
Castaway.
Yeah.
Castaway was that, but I thought it was
like,
excellent.
I would agree. You take out Chocolat.
Yeah.
But you could put any one of those movies in there, any one of them in there to replace Chocolat. And I hate to say it, but I still feel like Gladiator wins.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Does
for
the
me, it was
group
only
have any
between
reason that
Gladiator
doesn't?
and Crouching Tiger. Those were the only two competing for it.
So Veronica, why are we wrong?
Um, honestly, for this one, I wouldn't say you're wrong. Gladiator was very good movie. I would take out Chocolat, and then I would give it to like a dog I didn't like. Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Memento. So this is a grander thing of my research. I didn't do like years of research for this when I found out, but I did some research and I had a very tough time because I'm like, okay, so it's 2001 to 2011. So those are like the Oscar years. Like this was nominated and it was possibly a Best Picture nominee in the 2001 year. So that means it would have come out in 2000.
Yes.
Or like from Memento. So I had to keep going back and forth because I would look up something and it would say, well, it was 2001, but no, this was 2000. And I got confused. So I would have to go and look up any movie that I thought was worth mentioning, like Memento. I would look up and see, well, was it nominated? Like if it wasn't a Best Picture nominee, was it nominated for something else? So I can know what year it was a part of. And Memento
That's
is
my
good.
fault. That's really my fault. I should have told you that ahead of time and been like, we discovered this on this last episode.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's my fault.
Memento came out in 2000, but it was actually nominated for a couple Oscars in 2002 and not 2001. So does that mean we should be bringing it up for 2002 since
It
it's
came out in
award?
No, I would stick with if it came out in 2000. That was yeah. I'm not sure why it had
Weird.
nominations in 2002. That's odd.
You know what? I don't. You know what? She brings up a good point because I was looking up. I was trying to do my research for 2009, and it said 2008. The Hurt Locker was released, but it didn't
For
win.
me too.
It didn't win the Best Picture until 2010 or 11 or something.
Really?
2010.
Late releases. It could have been like a Christmas time release or something.
Wow.
Well, I think it gets like a select release, so it can be at that Oscars. But like the full release sometimes happens the next year. It's a weird situation.
We discovered corruption basically in the
Oh,
Academy.
so they're doing what they need to get double coverage?
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
see.
kind
Basically.
of what it is. You can release one movie for 3 years and be nominated every single year.
Okay, all right, but and it also depends on if James Cameron is heavily, heavily, uh, you know, selling his movie to the
Yeah.
Academy. So
Sure.
we'll address that when we get to 2010. but Veronica, what if you had a movie for 2000
and
or
if
2001?
if we include Memento in the 2001, even though it was 2002, and when we get to 2002, I will bring up Memento again.
Yeah, no, totally fine.
That's actually on brand for the movie.
That's true. I
Right.
forgot that. I'm just gonna forget that I already brought it up. Good. Um, you mentioned, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time is American Psycho. That would have been one I would have maybe put in there ahead of Chocolat. Um, but yeah, also there's just a bunch of like I wrote down like Requiem for a Dream would have been in this one, right?
Right.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
It was a
Fantastic.
tough year.
Yeah,
Almost Famous was this year too, right?
Yeah.
Famous was really good.
To be fair, though, I would have put Emperor's New Groove ahead of Chocolat. So, like,
There's new groove in everything we do.
it's an amazing movie that deserves more recognition.
Does not.
John,
Stop.
no animated movies until 2002.
That's why I'm mad, because it deserved the recognition of being
No,
in
it
an
didn't.
animated
No,
category.
it didn't. It did not.
Stay mad. We're moving the fuck on. See, the Time Pals just hit the Time Pal button, and now we're going to the next year.
Yeah,
So-
no. Wait, hold
Dang
on.
it, John.
John? Okay,
What?
first of all, we have a guest, okay? We have a guest. Don't make me get angry with a guest.
Right.
Secondly,
no, get
Se-
angry. Get real mad.
secondly, that movie is garbage.
Why do you go there with him? Why?
It is offensive. That is offensive.
Thirdly,
All
Yeah.
John,
amazing voice acting performances. Least of all, like, the least of them was David Spade, and the best of them was Eartha Kitt.
no. Ask yourself, does a movie with David Spade deserve a Best Picture nomination? There's your answer.
More recognition.
And thirdly, Dom still needs a turn. So we need to finish. We need to finish Veronica's turn and then give Dom a turn. And you need to wait.
First of all, if you're saying that Joe Dirt wasn't one of the biggest snubs of all time, I don't know what's going on.
Oh God! Again,
But then we're talking about the yeah, that was in there. I forget what year that was, but yeah,
it was a tearjerker. I won't lie to you, but not Best Picture nod.
Everything is a tearjerker to you.
That's true.
So Memento I would put in there. American Psycho, yeah. And then A Requiem for a Dream was great. Castaway was also mentioned. That was a great movie. Yeah, this was a really great year for movies. And most of the top nominees anyways, I thought were also deserving. So there's nothing I would really eliminate from those. And yeah, I have no qualms with Gladiator.
And Gladiator still wins in your list, I'm guessing. Okay. That's fair. Dom.
Well, I still think Gladiator is definitely the winner of that one. Still a great movie. I think just as a honorable mention, John, I mean, we all know Emperor's New Groove really wasn't that great. It's All About the Road to El Dorado was way better than that movie.
I mean, that did open up my mind to the idea of thick animated Latino women.
Let's move on. To
Okay, that's all I want to say, so we can move on.
I love you, Dom.
2002. So 2002, the nominees were A Beautiful Mind, Gosford Park, In the Bedroom, The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge. And the winner, obviously, that year was
Not Lord of the Rings.
This is another tough one. Although I will say, and this is going to be a recurring theme, if you're going to nominate musicals, okay, I'm just going to leave that because that's going to come up later. I would take out Moulin Rouge, and I would.
Did you hear him gasp? Did you hear John gasp?
You would do that to Obi-Wan Kenobi, you bastard?
Look. This is my honest to God opinion. I would take out Moulin Rouge and I would put in Black Hawk Down.
Well, I actually don't know if I probably should have said it just because we were all being goofy about it. So A Beautiful Mind won that year.
Yeah.
If you asked everyone on the planet, Lord of the Rings was going to be that winner.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I probably think Lord of the Rings should have won. But all I could decide on for that year was I'm taking out Moulin Rouge and I'm putting in Black Hawk Down.
I agree with
Maybe.
I'm on a similar path with you, Chris.
I'm not even sure about it though, you know?
Really?
Well,
See-
I'm not 100% sold, but I think if I had to make a choice, it would be take out Moulin Rouge and put in Black Hawk Down. I think Black Hawk Down was a really well-made movie. It's a war movie. War
Got
movies.
Josh Hartnett in it.
No, but I mean, it was I know it won a bunch of Oscars for like sound editing and video editing and stuff like that. It was a really, really good movie. But if you're asking me, putting a gun to my head, like if I have to take out one, I would take out Moulin Rouge and put in Black Hawk Down. But A Beautiful Mind, I think, would probably still win.
Really? Even with your Lord of the Rings admission that it should have won, you would still have A Beautiful Mind win.
Well, because that was just the first one, right? Yeah. So that's not the best one.
Okay.
I mean, it laid the foundation though. I mean, we all know without a question. I was going to say Lord of the Rings should have won because that's my answer for any year that Lord of the Rings is up for anything. Beautiful Mind is an amazing movie and deserved second place easily. Moulin Rouge, I fucking love Moulin Rouge. I
figure.
will still watch it. Gosford Park was an amazing murder mystery. It did so good. It did such a good job of keeping that genre going. In the Bedroom can just go fuck off in some direction for all I care. But this is where I said I was on a similar path as you. If In the Bedroom can fuck off, you can easily replace it with Black Hawk Down, my next, or one of two other movies. Now, I would like to say this before I say what the next movie is. Before I say the next movie that I replace In the Bedroom with, that I would like to say that J.K. Rowling is the Elon Musk of authors. We were duped, bamboozled, bilked, conned, and all of the other words I wrote down from the thesaurus earlier today. She, like Elon, is a cunt who needs to be headbutted. Harry Potter was a very well-made movie, and so was Super Troopers.
Interesting. I only saw the first two Harry Potter movies. I was not a Harry Potter guy. When those books came out, I was still in college, so I wasn't reading quote unquote kids books. But it seemed like everybody on the planet was reading. I can see that being there. I don't think it wins. I can see that,
Shouldn't win. I'm just saying it should have been nominated more. Like it was one of the movies I would say to replace In the Bedroom with, but like Black Hawk Down was at the head of that list.
See, I wasn't as big of a Black Hawk Down stan as you guys were. I thought it was fine. I thought it was great, but I wouldn't have replaced it. May I offer two other ones? Because I've never seen In the Bedroom or Gosford Park. So if I remove those two, I would replace one with Mulholland Drive and then the other one with Donnie Darko, which is a movie that, but it became a cult movie. You have to acknowledge that it became a cult movie. You have to.
Nope.
You have to acknowledge.
Nope.
Did you forget
Nope.
to mute while you blew your nose? What the fuck was that?
That was me raspberrying.
He's raspberrying Donnie Darko.
Jesus,
The only other one
Yep.
the only other one I could think of would be Ghost World, but nobody saw.
I saw Ghost
No.
World. It was such a great fucking movie. Scarlett Johansson, Steve Buscemi, such a good fucking
Here's the
movie.
thing, though. Here's the thing about Ghost World: no lasting impact.
No, none.
None.
No. But you know what? Underscore, yeah, I was absolutely raspberrying you.
No. I don't. Here's the thing.
As hard as I could about Donnie Darko.
One of my favorite movies.
How dare you? I'm gonna yell at you like I yell at John. How dare you?
Let me explain. Donnie Darko, Wes Anderson's Royal Tenenbaums came out that year too. Those two movies influenced the shit out of our friends.
It doesn't matter.
Well, yes, it does. Because
it doesn't. That doesn't make it a good movie.
No. But if you're talking about what stays in the consciousness, Donnie Darko stayed in that shit for a decade.
Well, sure. It's a cult classic, but it's not a best movie of that year. Are you kidding me?
I have to acknowledge that it's a cult classic.
I will. I'll tell you. I won't shit on you as hard as I like to shit on John, but I'll agree to disagree.
Does nobody else?
It was a better movie with him in it.
John.
Bubble Boys are great movie. Thank you.
So
better than Donnie
Darko. He's
Darko.
on the same page with Mulholland Drive because I actually really like that one.
It's a good movie. It's just not one of the ones that I'm like, oh my god, Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive at least lasted with me.
Gosford Park was right in the same vein as like your Murder by Death, your Glass Onion.
So it's more. It's got like that tongue-in-cheek element. I should probably watch it. I like those two.
It's a good. You would definitely like it.
Okay, fair enough.
Veronica, what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about that year, Veronica?
About that year? I mean, I have some thoughts about what just transpired. I have more. First of all, yeah, Nickell, great move without your video on to Raspberry because that really comes across. We really get that.
Thank you.
That's podcasting.
That's not going to affect the editing
Yeah.
at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So
It's just gonna be. It's
So
gonna
meta.
break every goddamn speaker.
just, you just go by that maxim of we'll fix it in post. That's
Right,
fine.
right,
No fine.
right.
Yeah, I also I'm looking at the where's so at first they're just a like top like winner, A Beautiful Mind, and a lot of I've heard Lord of the Rings. Both great movies. I couldn't argue with replacing Beautiful Mind with Lord of the Rings, but I really like Beautiful Mind. So I'm not gonna just eliminate like that's fine if it holds that top spot. I didn't see In the Bedroom. So I'll replace that with pretty sure this hasn't been brought up. There was a movie that came out in 2000, but it was part of the 2002 Oscars. It was called Memento. And I think that got snubbed, but people don't remember. So that's fine.
Touche.
Um,
Touche.
Well played. Well played.
Well played.
I said I was going to bring it up again. And then, so I'm a couple movies that were thrown out there that were talked about a little bit. I'll mention just that I myself remember liking Donnie Darko a lot when I first saw it. Didn't really understand everything. I then eventually I mentioned name dropping. I mentioned that I did a hip hop musical, and the woman who played my mom was in Donnie Darko. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was on The Office, and so she's great. She's amazing. And then it's funny because my show, a lot of the themes of it, or there's a running joke about it was about like a woman who's adopted, and her parents come to find her biological mom comes to find her, but they think it's a boy and not a girl, whole trans thing. And a whole big part of it is that the parents are really big Harry Potter fans. So with the whole J.K. Rowling stuff, like I'm very familiar and well versed. And my take on it is, if you like Harry Potter, it's great. They were amazing. It's amazing content. When I was a kid, I didn't grow up reading Harry Potter. I was like, that's for little kids. So I only got into it later, especially when I was in a play where I played an adult Ron Weasley. It was kind of like a knockoff Cursed Child. And that was a lot of fun. And so I started watching the movies and I'm like, wow, these are really great movies.
That was
So
typecasting.
it was. It was definitely type. Well, I do a really good British accent, so that helped. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was chaotic. Um, but yeah, so I watched the movies, like 2 or 3 of them, and read a couple of the books. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. The Harry Potter stuff. And this was before a lot of like the really crazy J.K. Rowling trans stuff came out.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I get it. People like this. People are really into it. Like I was in a cast of the people who were really into it. So I don't hate anyone for loving Harry Potter. It's, part of staples of many people's upbringing. But try not to support J.K. Rowling, like financially, because she has explicitly stated that if you support her works, like financially and buy her stuff, she takes that as like, yeah, you're cool with my
But
views.
it
and
wasn't
stuff.
even that good of a movie. Like when it came out.
What? I mean, I'll give you the first one. They were young in the first one, but like every single person in those movies was or became a fucking great actor in their own right.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, if you train your whole life to be an actor, you're gonna be a good one
I
your
also
whole
like,
life,
yeah,
right?
the kids they all ended up being like good at like Daniel Radcliffe. You see him in other stuff. Like he's good. And Emma Watson she hasn't really done much, but she's okay. And then
She doesn't suck.
She doesn't suck. And then you got Alan Rickman. Like I love Alan Rickman.
Yes, I agree on that one.
So yeah, anything with him, like that's generally worth watching. Like, and I think what I gathered from listening to the last episode, and this is like a general thing too, is what is the criteria for saying like a movie should be replaced with another movie on this list? Because obviously art is subjective and our feelings on it are subjective. However, like there seems to be an issue of like, nominating, like
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters or like a popular movie or a blockbuster movie or a cartoon, like animated movie and stuff like that. So how
It-
much of it is like, I want the movie that I like the most versus the movie I like the most that would also fit whatever hypothetical Oscar worthy criteria is. Like where do
it's
we
really unobject. Or it's subject. Like
And it's based on each of our own opinions. It's what we would have
Right.
liked to see, which is why I put fucking Bill and Ted in there for like 1991.
because you're an idiot. That's why you did that.
I like that because it's like these are the movies that, like, honestly, I didn't know it because, like, well, Nickell, I don't want to like draw the ire of Nickell and have him lose respect for me.
Let's do
Although
it. You have an ally. Let's do this. I will be the Robin to your Batman, Veronica. Let's fuck his shit up.
but it's like I've seen a good amount of these, like the ones that were nominated for Oscars, but like I watched a lot of comedy.
Sure.
Like if you're talking about my favorite movies, like, and then it's like, well, yeah, what Veronica's Oscar list, not an Oscar list that I think Veronica would like. It's like, yeah, it's comedies. It's
Right.
you know,
And here's the thing about our list. You can kind of gauge. Obviously, you know, we're all trying to not one up each other in the sense of that pretentious, like I'm trying to find a movie you've never heard of, or I'm trying to find a movie that does a thing that now I have to explain and show my English lit kind of deal. Really, the way, well, for real, like the really the way I've always seen it, and just like John said with his Ghostbusters thing, it's the kind of movie where you're looking back on it and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what movie actually impacted me and everybody else that I can think of? You can either go broad with me not even really liking Donnie Darko that much, but going, hey, this movie had an impact, and people kept trying to remake this movie for about a decade. I think that's a good enough argument to get rid of a movie that was very good, a mystery movie that was a comedic mystery movie, I guess, but I've never really heard of it. Now, that's not good enough for some people. There's going to be people who are going to say, hey,
Me.
if you've never heard of it, doesn't mean that it's bad. But there's gonna be guys like me who go, "Well, if I gotta get rid of something, I'm gonna get rid of the one I've never heard of."
It's totally understandable.
Yeah,
It
at the
is totally understandable because, I mean, as asinine as I think Ghostbusters is, it's legitimate. If that it because it's all our own opinion. It's how we want to take the list and like cut it into best picture.
and it all kinda gives you a little bit of, like, who we are as people. There's no part of the reason why it's nice to have John here is because John had a lot of comedies and a lot of musicals, and Nickell told him why he was wrong. Every single year, there was a comedy or a musical. But here's the thing, you ask somebody like me who watches a lot of comedies too, I don't really do a lot of, like, hardcore dramas anymore. There's comedies that are so well made and will make me laugh over and over and over again, seeing the same jokes over and over and over again. And that to me is good filmmaking. It's good writing,
Yeah.
good everything combined into one. That also means that it's got a good performance in there. So, how is that any different for somebody like me when I'm watching, and I've seen Moulin Rouge, and it's fine. I don't disagree. It's very visually, it's amazing. But why is that better writing than another comedy that came out that year? I have no idea what came out. Like Monsters Inc. came out that year, right?
Yeah, but that's animated, different category, man.
No, but let's pretend. Let's pretend.
But there was an animated category. I have a whole
Yeah.
rant about that.
No, I know, and I'm trying not to get you to do it. But let's pretend that Monsters Inc. count. I find it just as valid. I find the visuals just as valid. I find the writing just as good, if not better.
So
And but
you would find the visuals of Monsters Inc. valid against the fact that Shrek won Best Animated Picture that year.
I'm gonna mute John. Where's my goddamn there? So John can't be heard now. It's now just us.
Surprise, asshole! I'm back.
No. There. So it's just us four. I don't care who else hears. So let's move on. No, stay dead. So
So so Veronica, the point is just, have fun with it.
yeah, there's not gonna be a point in time where we're gonna think we're gonna think like, well, she should have thought of this harder.
Unless you say something like Shrek, I won't shit on you.
that was going to be my next one was Shrek, but
Oh God. Okay.
I
Okay, somebody once told me that
So, the world was gonna roll me.
but that's because Shrek, like I love Shrek, but I like what you said about that, Mike, or underscore, however you want to be referred to as. That's considering, like, I like the idea of considering, like, okay, this had a lot of like personal meaning, but also a broad sense of how did this affect the zeitgeist? How did it affect like a broader culture in a broader sense? Like, did it have that impact? But I do think that there are a lot of comedies that do that.
Totally.
And so I'll bring some of those up. We'll see.
Yeah, take that. Don't be afraid of like me yelling at John like I'm gonna yell at you. Okay, I promise you, I'm only gonna yell at John.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I'm the only one who gets him hard when he does it. So
Maybe yell at John, or maybe yell at Dom sometimes too.
I do. In all seriousness, I know it was the first year for the animated category. My only gripe with the animated category for 2002 was just the fact that Spirited Away was not included in it.
That's foreign. That's gonna be foreign.
So
I'm just saying. I don't
So the-
control
so
the academy.
Lord of the Rings was in New Zealand. Hey, 2003, go.
Oh, okay.
Dom, wait, to Dom. Do Dom,
Okay.
do Dom.
Okay, cool. So, I think the obvious answer is just the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right. Of
Even
course.
my
Which is
local
fine.
movie theater still shows it once a year. They'll
Nice.
way.
they'll do the extended cut, $5, and then like 2 weeks later they'll do the Two Towers extended cut, and then 2 weeks from then the Return of the King extended
That's
cut.
awesome.
It's just $5. So that one's the obvious winner for me. Now I got to replace the other 4 with movies. Sorry, Chris, but Osmosis Jones, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and The Land Before Time 8.
So no.
He's trolling. He's trolling.
No, but I got one movie.
No, now he's just trolling me.
Yeah, no.
What's the last one? I gotta hear it.
Okay. Think of,
I'm gonna take a
if
deep
you guys
breath.
can guess it. It features Joker from The Dark Knight working with Vision from the MCU, Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones,
Movies of all time.
there it
Fuck
is,
yes.
and the robot from Rogue One, A Knight's
Yes.
Tale.
And Robert Baratheon.
Fun movie.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Fun movie.
At least a nominee, I think.
Fucking love A Knight's Tale.
Such a
I
great
made
movie.
a Paul Bettany as Chaucer in that movie D&D character that I still go back to this day.
Yep.
What do you do with that information?
Underscore.
Epic speech.
So those are my picks. We can move on now.
Yes, please, let's do.
Thank God. Okay. So
God.
the next year, Best Picture nominees were
That was
Chicago.
terrible. That was terrible, Dom.
Chicago, Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and The Pianist. And the winner that year was Chicago.
All right, okay. Take out Chicago, put in Road to Perdition.
I love you. We're back, baby.
Beautiful movie.
I'm back, baby. No, put in
Got Chicago too and put Road to Perdition. Thank you.
That's
Great movie.
that one was the easiest year I looked up this decade. Take out Chicago, put in Road to Perdition, which ironically is a movie about like Midwestern Chicago gangster lifestyle. But I don't want a musical. I want Tom Hanks dying in front of his kid.
Which one, Chet Hanks or Colin Hanks?
Any of them.
Oh no, the
I know, I'm kidding, I'm
you know,
kidding.
character kid.
I know.
No, but it should have been.
No, but really, it should have been Chet, right?
Fucking Chet.
Nobody likes a Chet.
Colin is dope. I'll
Colin is the best.
Colin's the talented one that like it's like a Tom Hanks. It's like, oh yes, that's Tom Hanks' kid. Chet
Yes.
is one that is nothing like any of them, and I won't say I don't think everybody hates him. I think he's a very divisive character. Some people really liked.
But everybody loves Tom and Colin.
That is not true.
Tom Collins.
That's
to
not
drink.
true.
No,
Tom Collins.
My ex and her whole family hate
Why?
Tom.
They should burn in hell.
I don't know why. I found this out when
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They should burn in hell.
we were first going, like when we're first like a few months into our like going out.
No,
my ex went to,
I'm telling you, they should. It doesn't matter. They should burn in
No,
hell.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm telling a story. So just let me tell the story. Okay.
Tell the story, Nickell.
My ex went to AFI, and AFI does their like they honor someone every year, and they were
Right.
honoring John Williams that year, and so she got tickets, and I went with her and her family. And there's a point where one of the presenters, like who came up and talked, was Tom Hanks. we're like far in the back, but they all started like
They got
booing.
invites
Like,
and booed Tom Hanks.
Why
How?
would you?
Damn.
That's white privilege. So sorry. I assumed race. That wasn't right of me.
can you say something about a John button? Is there a Nick
Yeah.
button?
Yeah. We're gonna make it in post.
we're gonna bleep Nickell for the first
No, it's
time.
not in deleting. It's just gonna be replacing him with another track of Veronica.
All right, I gotta say, Gangs of New York and Lord of the Rings: The Two Tower were tied for me because I will
should
cheer
have,
for
yep.
Daniel Day-Lewis in anything he's in ever. I love
Mhm.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
I always still pronounce it The Pianist, even though is it?
I believe
Okay,
so,
cool.
yeah.
Like I love Adrian Brody. I don't know people. That's why I said I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, it's pianist.
Yeah,
It's-
the penis.
Yeah, it's
The
like you say
penis.
penis. Yeah.
No.
Penis should have won. The pianist.
No, I didn't say it should have won, but like this is what like the first performance I remember by Adrian Brody, and I fucking love Adrian Brody.
And
I'm nervous for the day that we find out that he like sacrifices puppies in his basement because he's like too good, and I don't need another celebrity who I will then find out that I had like a misguided love for. All right, they already got me with Neil Gaiman.
Did you see when he hosted SNL and when he introduced Sean?
yeah, as a Rastafarian,
Oh, that's
And
amazing!
he's banned from SNL.
totally racially insensitive. But
Wow.
Just make that up to do like right then. Like, don't they like rehearse?
I think that was not something.
he probably did make that up
Jesus
right at the
Christ.
moment.
The only other change I would make, I'm 100% with you on Road to Perdition, but for me, The Hours was a great concept with poor execution, and I would remove it completely. And I think Hero, the one with Jet Li, that was in line with like your Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type cinematography, was an absolute replacement for that.
Oh, I disagree. I wasn't a fan of Hero. Hero was fine.
I think it was overhyped.
It was fine.
Oh yeah, it was definitely overhyped, but it was still a great movie.
The only ones I've never seen The Hours. I actually don't mind this list, but I would replace. I forgot about Road to Perdition. Shit, that should have been mine. I would take out The Hours and I would put in 28 Days Later. I loved that movie. I thought that movie was amazing because zombies had not been like effed out yet, and it's super low budget. It had great performances. Introduced the world of Danny Boyle. Awesome movie for me. I just took out the movie that I never saw. Again, going into like our criteria, and every bit like it influenced video games, influenced a ton of shit. Still one of my favorites.
What about I've really been trying to keep this all objective, but The 25th Hour was one of my favorite movies.
That's right.
I
don't
have not
remember
seen
that well.
I really
never liked
really don't think it's best picture nominee, but I gotta at least mention it. I wouldn't put it on the list, but 25th Hour came out that year. That's Edward Norton. Do you guys?
it. Yeah,
It sounds like none of you know that movie.
I saw 24 Hour for sure.
It's Edward Norton as like a drug dealer, before he goes to jail.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
I said not a best picture nominee, although I'd love it to be up there.
Was
It is
Rosario
one of-
Dawson in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I
now
saw
I
that.
have to see it.
Yeah.
And then the bigger black guy who always plays a cop, and he's always like, "Oh, hey."
When are we getting
I
the
really,
Nickell
part
button?
of me is so curious if you're talking about Ving Rhames.
The Nickell button should just be him saying "oh shit" in that voice.
Oh God.
No, I'm telling you, like that's this guy's entire career.
Are you talking about Reginald Val Johnson? Like
No, not Carl, not Carl Winslow. Get out of here. I know his name.
Oh my God. I know who he's talking about. And that's not
Like-
who I thought he was.
No, he said it in like multiple movies or shows. I'm telling you, I'm not. Like,
Anyway,
it happened.
let's move on to Veronica.
Move on. You're right. Sorry.
Oh shit.
So yeah, out of these movies, no significant complaints, but I never saw The Hours. I know we mentioned Gangs of New York. which is and this was also the year Road to Perdition,
Yeah.
right? So taking a couple stars from each of those, Leo and Tom Hanks, I really liked Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good, fun, well-made movie. Steven Spielberg, right? Like, yeah,
It was for sure.
It was very
really
fun.
like
I
that.
will admit, it's a very fun movie. And then the irony is the dude who the movie's about, the fraud guy, came out a couple years ago that he made up most of his biography. How do you not love that? To be honest with you, that's amazing.
It was a fraud about a fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate fraud. Just like Alanis Morissette's ironic song
Right?
is the ultimate ironic song because none of it is
Amazing.
actual irony.
Dom?
Well, I don't think there was a lot of good movies that year, except for The Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. I know Star Wars: Attack of the Clones isn't worthy of an Oscar nomination, or even Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Eh.
Dom, I respect you for not throwing in.
But I think Icy
Howard.
could be in there.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
There we go.
Christ.
You guys are trying to piss me off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to throw one in there just to get a reaction out of Chris.
God damn it. God damn it, you guys. So, 2003, I think, is what we're on, right?
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
to 2004.
Okay. So the next one, the nominees were Lord of the Rings: Return of the King,
Yep.
Lost in Translation, Master and Commander, Mystic River, and Seabiscuit. Winner that year, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Fuck yeah, it was.
Of course.
I hated Lost in Translation, but honestly, that year I can't find a better replacement for it.
I have one note for 2004, and that's fuck Seabiscuit. Had no business being in there. Nobody gives a shit about your stupid fucking horse. Put Old Boy in. It's the only movie that could compete with those other nominees.
Old Boy was interesting as shit. Old Boy was cool.
Like honestly, if I could take out Lost in Translation and not put anything else in its place, I would be happy with that. Hated Lost in
Interesting.
Translation. I thought that was the most overrated, most pretentious fucking movie.
I have a confession. I never saw Lost in Translation.
That's fine.
It's fun, in my
You
opinion.
saved money. You saved
I
money.
never thought. You know why? Because like one of my most pretentious friends, that's friends with me and Nickell, would not shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, and guess who I went to go see it with?
Oh, I bet you. God damn it, of course, of course.
And I was like, this movie is fucking garbage. So I really don't have anything I could objectively replace it with, but I just want that off the list.
Interesting. You know, going over the list myself, I don't know if what I would replace stuff with, because this was a year for me. Like I know Dom was kind of being facetious about how like the year before was the worst year.
Mhm.
This year for me, like a lot of movies were just good movies for me, but nothing that I was like, oh my god, I gotta, you know what I mean? Like performances were great, but I didn't really feel anything. Like I wasn't a big Lord of the Rings guy ever. So Return of the King was just very long and it was fine, but it was like a means to an end. And like never saw Lost in Translation. I liked Mystic River. I agree with Seabiscuit not really being on the list. But what would you replace them with? This is for me like would you replace it with like The Last Samurai, which was cool, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
no.
like
no.
would you replace it with something like I don't even know. Like Old Boy, when the moment you said Old Boy, I'm like, I liked Old Boy. But again, I don't think that would ever go on the
It
list.
wouldn't because it's a foreign film, and you
Yeah,
know
I
how
don't-
the Academy likes to keep those foreigners away.
And the thing is, like, it's one of those foreign films where you're not gonna get it. Yeah, it's you know what I mean? Like it's like crazy violence and stuff. I can see people just immediately
Yeah.
turn off to it. So I don't know what you would do. And then I know that year was the year where they had Finding Nemo, and I almost did it, and I was like, well, I mean, it's a cool Pixar movie, but would you put that somewhere? You know what I mean?
Well, it already made it into the animated.
Did it? Okay, yeah. So I guess it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. So yeah,
And
I don't know how to handle this year.
And you don't want to get yelled at by me.
And you don't want to
That-
incur the wrath of Nickell.
And I guarantee you, there's probably a shit ton of movies I'm missing. But when I just ran through the list, I'm like, I don't know what I would replace anything with.
No, I'm sure there's
That's right,
there's
you don't
a
have
few
to.
that I'm missing too, but I was like, I just want Lost in Translation off the list.
Yeah, like I said, never saw it. The person kept insisting it, and I went, "Well, then I'm never gonna see it." I'm fucking sticking with my
It
gut.
was terrible. It was a fucking god awful movie, and it should never have belonged on the Best Picture nominees.
So, Veronica, tell us why we're wrong.
Favorite movies is Lost in Translation.
Look at her face when we were like, "I don't get it. I'm never gonna see it." Was like, "Oh, I've made a mistake coming here."
I remember I rented it with my my partner at the time, and she was like, I didn't this was but I just figured just because like she wasn't that smart, so I thought that was why. I really liked it. I love Bill Murray. Yeah, and I get the pretentious stuff. But like you went in and talked like that, and then another movie that I love is Seabiscuit. That it had a personal relationship for me because like I think I was a senior in high school, and I was running track at the time, and I was coming back from injuries, and I had a teacher who was also the head football coach, and this was at De La Salle. So, like Bob Laddister, top legendary high school football coach. And he told me, he's like, you're coming back from your injury and you're going to try to make, you know who you are? You're Seabiscuit. You're Seabiscuit. I'm like, I've never seen that. It's like, you need to rent that movie and watch
Does that
it.
mean that if
And
you
then
didn't win, they were going to shoot you?
I was gonna say the same thing.
I didn't know that at the time when he was saying that, but probably.
But
I somehow,
it could have happened.
right. Yeah. Somehow I am still here. But I remember I had like 100-degree fever before like the NCS championship. And I just watched him like, I am Seabiscuit. And then like I went and ran the mile the next day. And on the last lap, I'm like, I'm Seabiscuit. I'm passing them on the outside. And then I'm like, no, I'm sick. And that I did not win. But I remember I was like, yeah, Seabiscuit. So that just has a personal like I personally have fondness for those two movies. But yeah, besides that, besides defending, all the vitriol that was just faced for that, let's see. So yeah, I don't really have
Time out, vitriol. Like
lots of vitriol.
we can disagree with Seabiscuit and other movies. Like there's no vitriol there.
There's vitriol for Lost in Translation.
I mean, yeah, maybe there was.
Don't shy away from it. Own your vitriol. I don't have any problems with any of. I never saw Master and Commander. The only thing is I did not see Mystic River. And here's the thing, I don't
Sean
like
Penn.
movies that have a title that doesn't really indicate the kind of movie that they are. Like Mystic River should be about a magical river where like that's what Mystic River.
So you need something more in the line of like a big nuts and tight sluts type of thing to accurately understand what.
Just like the movie Hamburger Hill should be about like In and Out on the top of a mountain that's like having hard time.
No, you're
Okay,
right.
that's what that movie should be about.
Mystic River is definitely a misleading title.
So is Shrek. What the fuck is a Shrek?
If you bring up Shrek again, John, I swear.
Okay, you're right. You're right. So this year we had Shrek 2.
Don't do it. I'll give
So
it.
what about
Dom? Go Dom.
Tom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, obviously, The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King definitely deserved it.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't deny, even though I didn't like it, I don't deny that it didn't.
I'm not even a huge fan of it either, but I don't deny that it deserved it.
Right, and I'd probably replace the other four again with.
How many animated movies were this year? They can't be-
Well, no, I think I would put on X-Men 2.
Underscore, you gotta understand, he was like 10 at this time. So he's like, Pocahontas was the best
Right.
movie.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nah, it'd be X-Men 2, The Matrix, Reloaded, and Revolutions. And then for you, Chris, Sinbad.
Revolutions and Reload were both the same year?
Yep.
I don't even remember
There was
that.
a Sinbad movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad
Sinbad,
Pitt.
Legend
Brad
of the
Pitt,
Seven
yeah.
Seas.
Yep.
Oh, the animated one with.
Yeah, the animated one.
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, what movies was Sinbad in that year?
House Guest.
House Guest.
Was that when Sinbad was in that movie where he was a genie that didn't actually
Yeah,
exist? but
Kazam.
he-
That was never a Mandela effect for me. I 100% remember seeing Shaq in the trailer being like, "This is gonna be a piece of shit."
2004, or 2005, let's do it.
All right, next one.
Let's keep the ball moving for sure.
Nominees that year: $1 Million Baby, The Aviator, Finding Neverland, Ray, and Sideways. Winner that year: $1 Million.
I'm gonna let you guys go first because I can't change. I can't
All right.
change Best Picture, but I do have something to say about a nominee that isn't Best Picture.
This year, I have the most to say.
Really? No way.
Yes.
Go.
First off, Ray
Prepare for another
should have
hour.
won.
Prepare for
Ray-
another hour.
Ray should have won. The Aviator did not need to be 3 hours. I mean, it did need to be 3 hours, but like it needed to be better for being 3 fucking
Right.
hours.
Yep.
I personally say drop it completely.
Huh.
Finding Neverland, I think Finding Neverland should have been dropped because it would have been better served with just a solidly well done documentary.
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby, drop it. We do not need another We Overcame Adversity in XYZ film where we had to convince the weirdly racist, sexist, insert other prejudice coach to come back from retirement to help somebody win another sports
I would
fucking
argue
movie.
$1
I
Million
hate
Baby.
that.
She never comes back.
No, I didn't like it. But Sideways was the worst offender to me. I love Paul Giamatti. I love Thomas C. Howell. There is no fucking way I would want to watch I did, but a fucking pretentious wine country version of The Hangover.
Mm. And that's an amazing description.
Yes.
Holy shit. That's incredible.
I love that. I love that. It's like what's his new movie out? The Holdovers.
The holdovers.
Right?
Yeah.
That's like a oh god damn, I had the analogy in my head just now, but I forgot. But
I would you're not gonna love my replacements, but Prisoner of Azkaban, Spider-Man 2, Shaun of the Dead, and The Life Aquatic.
Here's why I wasn't a Life Aquatic guy. I don't hate that list. Spider-Man,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I don't know why I didn't like Sideways, but it's an amazing. The whole time I'm like, this movie is not good. I don't know, and now that's perfect. Thank you for that. I don't even know. I liked Eternal Sunshine. That's a
Oh yeah.
so I thought that was a really fun movie. I don't know if it wins. Who won this year? $1 Million Baby. That's right. I don't know if it wins, but yeah, I am a fan of $1 Million Baby. It was a little more cartoony than I think people will remember. It's kind of silly for all of like the major traumas that occur. Like the what's her name's family? I forget the name of the actress, but her family shows up in like Disneyland gear and stuff like that. Like it's the main reason why she becomes paraplegic. Like it would never happen, or somebody tries to hit her with a fucking a stool, or she falls her down. I'm sorry, her neck falls on the stool perfectly. Like there's a goofiness to it that when you rewatch it, if you ever do, is apparent. Replace it with. I really, like I said, my brain liked Spider-Man 2 a lot. Incredibles wouldn't count, but I would throw that in there instead of a ton of other shit.
It won Best Animated though.
It deserved it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm holding
yeah.
my breath.
Other than that, like, I don't know. I don't know what I would replace it with because it wasn't my favorite year, to be real with you. Like all those movies that you say you'd get rid of, I can see a good argument for all those.
Yeah, the first one I thought of was as like as a replacement would have been Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Really, I really like that movie. I thought it was great. Oh, by the way, yeah, $1 Million Baby. Yeah, it could stay. Although I would maybe replace not $1 Million Baby as a nominee, but replace like Sideways and Finding Neverland were fine, but not great. I could see replacing those, putting in Eternal Sunshine, and then maybe I would maybe put Eternal Sunshine winning over $1 Million Baby. By the way, I've never done this before. This is my impression of $1 Million Baby. That's my kind of humor. Anyways, but this is okay. Now we're getting into years where I'm like, I want to nominate a movie like Anchorman because that is a
I
movie
don't disagree.
that has had a huge cultural impact.
Yes, men bond over just repeating lines from that movie.
Yeah.
Milk was a bad
Years.
choice. It's just one example. So many. I'm in a glass case of emotion. So many choices.
My boy,
Dan
Bruno.
and Paul. Yeah. Like now that if now my brain's gonna.
I
I gotta
mean,
stop that.
nerds bond over quoting Monty Python movies too. Does that make them best?
I think that
picture?
comedy is hard. A lasting comedy is hard enough that when you have something like Anchorman that just touches on that pulse, it should be recognized.
Yes.
And that same year, along the same lines, Dodgeball kind of was also of that ilk.
Oh yes.
But in terms of more Nickell worthy nominations, wasn't that 2004? Like that would have been the year that The Machinist would have been eligible. Was
Maybe.
that year? Was it came
That
out?
I think should have been.
Is it?
I didn't put it on my
Machinist,
list.
2004.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Good on you.
I
That
didn't
was-
put it on my list because I didn't see it and I didn't feel.
The one that didn't make any list because they re-released it or something like that. Like you'd think that would be on there.
It's
No, I
probably
think
in
it
here.
came out January 2004, but it's possible
So-
it had an early release maybe.
Right.
Interesting.
No, but I think you're right, V. I think that probably could have been on the list, but I didn't see it myself, so
Oh, you didn't see. Oh, yeah.
I'm always
Excuse me.
like I want to make it objective.
That's fair. And I'm partial to movies that are driven by like great acting performances. So like when I was looking at like not movies that didn't get nominated for Best Picture, I'm like, okay, well, was there a movie that like someone was nominated for Best Actor or Actress that year? Because that always compels me. Like I can watch a movie, like most movies that if they're like, let's say, good, maybe not great in some people's minds in terms of cinematography or storytelling, but if there's like a Daniel Day-Lewis given like a hell of a performance or something like that, like yeah, that's a movie that I could consider being like a top Best Picture nominee.
Well, I think I should be honest and say I haven't seen any of those 5 movies, so I'm going to have to replace all of them
Oh Jesus!
with actual winners. So I think first pick, Shaun of the Dead.
I like Shaun of the Dead a lot.
I still like it a lot.
Yeah,
It's still worth rewatching. I'd probably pick Hellboy. What else I got?
It was well made too. It's like these are all very well made movies.
Yeah.
Right. The Day After Tomorrow. It's also like a cool roller coaster type experience. And then I'll go with Spider-Man 2. But I think my number one pick, definitely Dawn of the Dead. Because it's Zack Snyder's first directed movie. So of course it's the winner.
Snyderverse
Snyderverse has started.
They threw out the God. Now I'm a Nickell thing. Fuck it. No. We're gonna mute me. For fuck's
Just
sake.
quickly move to 2006. We
Yeah.
No, wait.
Yeah, no, we're moving on. We're moving.
No.
Nickell hasn't gone yet.
I have one thing to say about that year, 2005. It was technically like what you would call a mockumentary, okay? But it should have won Best Picture for documentary. It was called CSA, the Confederate States of America.
Oh God.
It was hands down, still to this day, the best fucking satire you will ever see in your life. It was hands down the best satire you'll ever see in your life. It was a mockumentary about if the Confederate States won the Civil War. And so it was like a British documentarian was going over and seeing freed slaves in still the 2000s. And they're trying to, cross the border and stuff. And it was so good in such a satire way.
That was a good one. I remember that one. That was good.
So it should have won, in my opinion, and I'm going completely off board on this one. It should have won Best Documentary, even though it was a mockumentary.
Yeah, that's
I can stand behind that. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
This concludes the first part of this episode. Please join us next week for the conclusion of the insert nerd topic here. Wherever you get your most treasured podcasts. The Time Pals are the geek cornerstone of the Mayday Media Network. Check out all of the Mayday Media podcasts at maydaymedianetwork.com